Well, my friends, it has been a while, hasn't it? You'll all need to forgive me. I acquired an add-on myself called The Flu over the last week, which badly impacted my ability to provide updates, as well as other lore and tactical videos to everyone, so apologies. But I am now well enough to provide a huge update for everyone. Well, mostly well enough. The Mercenaries Kickstarter has only 5 or 6 days remaining on its clock. I want to do an update as to where we are and what we've learned, as well as going over what I think is the single best part of what they've done to help show off the value of the Kickstarter. If you've not seen my prior video, which breaks down everything available on the Kickstarter called Battletech Mercenaries Kickstarter Breakdown, I recommend watching it to get a full breakdown of most of what the Kickstarter has up until this point. I will have a link in the description below, just in case. Also, the typical disclaimer, I don't work for Catalyst, nor do I have any agreements with them of any sort. This is just me as a fan and a consumer of Battletech products making a video. So, let's get started, shall we? First, as of the making of this video, the Kickstarter has reached an incredible $5.6 million so far. It has over 19,000 backers. For a lot of folks, they've been confused seeing the slowdown since the first 72 hours of the Kickstarter itself. But I just want to point this out here, that's pretty normal for most Kickstarters. Crowdfunding campaigns of this nature tend to be what is called U-shaped, which means the majority of the pledges made for them happen in the first 72 hours and in the last 72 hours. So the Kickstarter took 4 million in pledges from the first 72, and the last 72 is going to likely be a wild ride. I could see another million in pledges, or 2 million, or 3 million, or even 4, depending on how things go and what is on offer for people as the final countdown begins. It's a great time to get involved if you're interested in the Kickstarter, simply because in these final days, you'll be able to see what's the best on offer from Catalyst and Battletech. Truth be told though, the $7 million level unlock gives such enormous value, which I'll break down for everyone a bit later in the video, especially at the battalion level if plastic is what you're mostly looking for. If history is anything to go by, then it's incredibly likely that the campaign will hit 7 million, though there's always an outside chance that last 72 hours will underperform. Also, Catalyst has updated their add-ons, which is another huge point I want to stress in this video to help people out in understanding them, as it streamlines and simplifies everything for people wanting to make double pledges. I personally think the Kickstarter will eventually end at around 7.5 to 8.5 million, depending on what the final stretch goals are as they're broken over the coming days. The $8 million goal is meant to be pretty special to some, and will likely be a new force pack for people to select in the Kickstarter, most likely. There have been some jokes and hints that perhaps the legendary Blood Asp will make an appearance in the box, or the Yenlo Wang, Centurion of some sort, though that's some speculation on my part and I may be reading too much into it. So to start with, let's tackle some of the new add-ons, and go over how these might be implemented. But just before we edge into the plastic, I want to say they've been expanding the amount of swag to impressive levels. Not only do we have the original list that has been unlocked up until this point, which are Avanti's Angels, the Blackthorns, Camacho's Calabreros, Clan Seafox, the Eridani Lighthorse, the Grey Death Legion, Hansen's Rough Riders, House Arano, House Recall, the Elysian Lancers, Kellhounds, Lexington Combat Group, the Magistry of Canopus, the Marian Hegemony, McCarran's McArmored McCavalry, the Northwind Highlanders, the Outworlds Alliance, the Rosselhaig Dominion, the Raven Alliance, the Republic of the Sphere, Snords Irregulars, the Star League, the St. Ives Compact, the Taurian Concordat, the 12th Vegan Rangers, the 21st Centauri Lancers, the Wolf's Dragoons, and finally, and most importantly, the Word of Blake, which is an absolutely enormous list. But now, Lyndon's Battalion has also been getting added to this, along with the incredibly legitimate periphery state known as the Oberon Confederation. But wait, there's more. Should the Kickstarter climb to 6.5 million, the Blue Star regulars will get swag, along with the brand new Tamar Pact, freshly forged from the corpses of the dying empires of the inner sphere around it. This is also fantastic. To add to that, at 7.5 million, the absolutely legendary Crescent Hawks will get faction swag, along with the Vesper Marches, another hinterland state. I'm going to be getting the Word of Blake coin from this launch myself, and I'll be buying as an add-on option some of the Clan Invasion coins as well, as those are a $10 add-on, as they can't be selected for the general Mercenaries bundle, to be clear. I missed out on getting me some sweet Comstar coins last time, and this time I'm going to correct that. Blake be praised. There's also an assortment of what are called retaliation boxes that have been added. Retaliation boxes of the Mercenaries and Alpha Strike variety are basically just pure mech forces of what those boxes normally have, without having to pay for all the game component add-ons. These are for the Kickstarter only, and are discounted mechs if you're looking for those particular models. They've also added battle mat bundles for those wanting neoprene battle mats to play on. For $100 you get all 3 of the new city battle mats in one bundle, or you get all 3 of the Savannah battle mats in one bundle, basically saving $20 per bundle. These mats are going to be released to the Kickstarter backers first, if I'm not mistaken, and can be picked up by the general public and the retailers after the Kickstarter is fulfilled. Also, if you want cool dice pucks with metal dice, you can get those too. I may have added 4 to my pledge, even though that's a lot of money. I just love the pucks and the swag within. I don't have a problem. You all do. Don't look at me. Don't look at me! But now we're going to get to the point that I, myself, have indulged in the most, I dare say. Which is to say that they are allowing contributors in their add-on manager on the Kickstarter to add in their second pledges early. You don't need to math it out or anything like that, it's simply hit add and select the quantity. This means if you pledge in your main pledge at the battalion level, let's say, and you want a second battalion set of pledges, with all the physical rewards, barring the 4-inch Timberwolf statue and barring the free Visigoth fighter for people who signed up for the first 48 hours, you will get it here. Your digital rewards don't get doubled either. But that wouldn't matter really anyway, as copy and paste is a function anyone can do. You can triple your own digital rewards on your hard drive, with the power of Windows and Linux, I promise. What's most exciting though is that it can be confirmed that the additional unlocks done in the Kickstarter will be applied. So what does that mean? So let's say they hit the $7 million goal. This will mean battalion pledge backers receive 11 force packs and several extra salvage packs instead of the current 9. Remember, battalion level backers at the beginning of the campaign only got 6. This is basically double plastic. And in the add-on section, if you add an additional battalion, this will mean you're not getting 1 mercenary box plus 11 force packs and several salvage boxes. This means you'll be getting 2 mercenary boxes and 22 force packs and several salvage boxes. The value just goes bonkers, and normally you'd have to wait for the pledge manager to open up to assign this, but this time no, it's directly in the add-ons pages for your pledge. But it has to be done through the add-on page. If you do a second pledge through a second account, you will pay shipping twice, though you will get an additional Mad Cat statue. It's a big pain, and most people aren't going to need multiples of those statues. Companies at 7 million are getting 4 force packs instead of 2 as well. Once again, doubling the force pack values. Veterans are getting some extra salvage boxes too. Poor Regiment does run a bit behind on plastic, and they started with 12 and will end with likely 17 or 18 if I can math this correctly. But yes, if you want to add a second pledge, they've enabled you to do so in the add-on section during the Kickstarter. No need to allocate mathed out additional volumes of cash, you just saddle up in the add-on space. I mostly bring this to attention because this is what I wanted to do from day one on the Kickstarter, as I'm getting a couple of extra battalions, and I know a lot of you out there are looking to do the same thing. So, this is a huge value for people, especially as I think the Kickstarter is going to sail past 7 million in the last 72 hours. I think I've got everything covered that I wanted in the add-on section, so I think that's it for this part of the video, I think. During the last days, though, I think it's important to point out that CGL themselves are going to be running a bunch of live streams, including a 24-hour live stream up until the final stages of the Kickstarter. And I'll be watching a lot of it myself. In fact, I'm going to be streaming myself a lot during the last 72 hours as we follow how huge this thing is going to be to the close, though I can't promise that I'm going to be doing something as huge as Catalyst Game Labs is. But the real question is, what is going to be around in the $8 million stretch goal? I'm very curious myself. We approach it ever so slowly, and we likely won't see what Catalyst has in store until the $6 or $7 million values are hit. But this is going to be most likely what determines if the Kickstarter is going to make it over 8 million or not, in my opinion. Still, I hope this rambling has been informative to you guys after my week of absolute misery, which some of you can likely still hear in my voice. The patent video will be coming out hopefully before the Kickstarter is over, and I hope it's a fun ride for everyone as a video. I will have a link in the description to Catalyst's YouTube channel for following their streams, of course, and I'll have a link to the Kickstarter as well. With that, thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it, it helps. Also, if you want to be up to date on Battletech news, sourcebooks, and novel releases, and also you want to see a ton of the tactical and lore videos that I make, please consider subscribing to the channel. With that, I will catch everyone in the comment section below.